Today, I will be talking on a completely different topic. I will not talk about income tax. I will be talking about something quite different, that is forensic audit. In the 50th Regional Conference of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India Eastern Region, I was speaking on this topic, and this is one of the most favorite topic of mine because I have been working on this for a long time. What do you mean by forensic audit? Forensic audit is where an incident has occurred and you are trying to find out the reasons why it has occurred or what are the areas which has been affected by this breach of or compromise of the system. So what are the essential traits of an auditor in order to do a forensic audit? He must be a financial expert. He has to be having an investigative mind, and he must be having the analytical rigor to analyze the evidences that he has collected. So the question that may arise is, why is it necessary? Why can't the traditional audit take care of everything? Well, traditional audit is very robust and is mainly directed towards the compliances, the reporting, the disclosures, the true and fair view of the financial statements. But to do a forensic audit, you have to post-mortem a particular transaction or a particular compromise that happened in your system. Modern day frauds are very dynamic. It targets technology. It targets weakness in control. It may involve multiple layers or levels of collusion. Now, when a fraud happens, particularly the accounting frauds, there is a digital footprint which is left behind by the persons perpetrating this fraud. And as a forensic auditor, you are supposed to find out or unearth these kind of evidences that is left behind. Often, these data has to be collected by use of technology. And by collecting this data, you may also require technology to do the analysis of the data. There are various tools available for undertaking the forensic audit. The tool that we use is known as Diligent. Diligent software is one of the world leaders in audit automation softwares, and it allows very easy analysis of the data, and it also is capable of collecting the data from various sources so that you are able to analyze this data. There are various techniques involved in forensic audit. You may have to recognize a particular transaction pattern, and this can be done by way of statistical analysis like Benford's law or statistical modeling theories. Forensic audit can also involve digital forensics and email mining. Now, you may be required to go into the details of the communication that has taken place between suspected people and the organization or even organizations outside the company. Another very important area, whenever there is a fraud, there is movement of funds from one account to the other or multiple or various movements of these funds. Now, you have to keep a trail or you have to find out how the funds have moved, and accordingly, you analyze these trails and come out with the suspected fraud. As a forensic auditor, you may also have to analyze the control weaknesses that are in existence in your company. These control weaknesses may be in the form of lack of vendor due diligence, a lack of maker-checker concept, ERP controls having overridden, or it could even be excess of journal entries passed, that is manual intervention to an automated system. In a forensic audit, a very important aspect is collection of evidences. Now, if you collect these evidences, you are required to keep it in a very untampered form so that if required, you may have to produce these informations to the court of law. The report that is submitted in a forensic audit should be in such a manner that it can be produced before the court of law. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has also come out with the forensic audit standards, and these standards can be applied in the procedures followed as well as the evidence collection and reporting. How is it important for your business? At times when you feel that there have been some compromise in the systems that is being used in your companies, then you can have the transactions or your financials audited by a forensic auditor. In one of the assignments, I can tell you, there were some doubts in the mind of the top management that there were certain kind of activities which were going on which were hitting their bottom line. So they had hired us, and we, after the investigation, it was found that there were number of systems which were being used by the company. There were a lot of differences between the two systems. The stocks were not being properly maintained. The books were inflated. The vendor payments were more. There were lots and lots of compromise which were happening in the system. Therefore, a forensic audit could be a very, very important tool in the hands of those who are leading a company and are doubtful or suspecting that there could have been a compromise in the system.